Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the analysis of YOLENO TV. I hope you're well from wherever you're watching this channel.
Obviously, corruption is a big thing here. The latest one being the fake fertilizer scandal.
Well, I think corruption is a big problem facing Kenya. And in fact, if Kenya fails to fulfill its full potential, will be because of corruption.
Meg Whitman has been known to be William Ruto's buddy ever since Ruto took over the presidency of Kenya. So in a live interview at JK Live, Meg Whitman decided to delve into this issue of corruption. There is no point to tell you about what happened about Mithika Linturi because I believe you already know about what was said during the voting of the Parliament Select Committee that was handling the issue of the scandal surrounding fertilizer issue, whereby, according to the Busia women representative Catherine, she said that millions were flashed there in a bid to defend Mithika Linturi in that proceeding. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to take you to what Meg Whitman said during JK Live interview. And I believe some of you might have stumbled upon that video, but if at all you didn't, there's a small clip here that I'll share throughout this analysis. So before you do that, please like this video to enable YouTube to share it to other people not part of our audience. Also, you can subscribe if you're not subscribed before. And to existing subscribers, thank you so much for your support. Meg Whitman did not shy off from saying that William Ruto's government is overly corrupt. What you know about the US is that they always don't give a damn when it comes to people who are corrupt. I don't know whether that could be the reason why the US Congress Speaker declined that request to have William Ruto speak in a joint session of the US Congress. I don't know whether that could be the reason, but there is something that could have taken place to prompt that kind of a decision by the US Speaker. So let's go to this clip where Meg Whitman is making these assertions.
Well, I think corruption is a big problem facing Kenya. And in fact, if Kenya fails to fulfill its full potential of the natural resources and people and everything this country has going for it, it will be because of corruption. And so I have spent time talking about corruption. You've probably heard me on a number of different speeches. And I think the Kenyan people have to decide they want to change this. America can provide some resources and some technical help, but ultimately this is up to the Kenyans. And I think, the Kenyans need to decide to hold people accountable. And, democracy is based on the rule of law. And fortunately, Kenya has a strong rule of law. And I think Kenya needs to go after it.
The expectations by many people would have been maybe she would have defended the Ruto regime over these claims, or maybe she could have said those are baseless claims from the people of the Azimio quota. But she chose to hit the nail on the head and say that this is something that has been alarming and the Kenyan people need to take it very seriously. That is enough confirmation, going by the statement there, that the US have been following this issue of fertilizer. They have been following it keenly. And that is also enough confirmation that they have realized that the Kenya government is doing very, very little to curb this issue of corruption. In this analysis, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like us to dig deeper into these remarks by Meg Whitman. Last year, for those who've been following the politics in Kenya, last year, you saw Meg Whitman in most of those speeches. She never talked about corruption. She always talked about the positive things that the Ruto regime is doing. So as to why she has now decided to talk boldly about this matter, corruption, despite the fact that we all know that William Ruto has not done enough to deal with the issue of agriculture. Of course, we would say that Ruto has literally delegated, every role to each and every department to deal with it. That there are people supposed to deal with the issue of the CS agriculture, the courts, the ESCC, the DCI. Those are the departments which are supposed to deal with it. So we could say RUTO has literally given that role to those people to handle the issue of Mithika Linturi. But as to how this drama unfolded that saw Mithika Linturi survive the wrath of the parliamentarians, that also indicates that there is something that was happening behind the scene. You saw what the Busia women representative talked about when he said there were threats, and she talked about you not getting justice if you don't have support of the system. So if at all Mithika Linturi was being supported by the system, we could as well say that the government was supporting Mithika Linturi, and so that's why Mithika Linturi was never impeached fully. Or where we can say he was impeached, but he survived the onslaught from the Public Parliament Select Committee. Of course, one could say that William Ruto has done something, because there was a circular that I saw also about certain agricultural roles being given to Rigathi Gachagua. But the best thing would have been if at all William Ruto was interested in dealing with the corruption, especially at the agricultural department. He could have, suspended Mithika Linturi, maybe on a temp until this case is thoroughly investigated by the DCI, ESCC, the police and the like, so that when finally the result come out that he is clean, then he can be reinstated. But the result come out that he is not clean, then he should be fired. That would have been the best thing. But you see, the circular that we saw was that Gachagua had been given certain roles of the CS agriculture, certain roles. But at the same time, Linturi is still in office. So these are the things which we find being, compromising the real fight for corruption. So Meg Whitman realizes that indeed the government is doing too little to contain this mayhem of corruption. So, ladies and gentlemen, what do you make of this statement from Meg Whitman? She said the Kenyan government needs to make a decision, firm decision. Kenyans need to make firm decision. This is a shift from her previous stand of always praising the RUTO regime. But now she seems to be delivering a different message. And personally, I think this message, because we know that lastly, like 2 days, like a week or more, they had a meeting. She had a meeting with Raila Amolo Odinga. And of course, some things, Raila Amolo Odinga could have told her about some things regarding the corruption in this RUTO regime. And so we expect that this message was going to come forth in defense of the true status or the true stand of America when it comes to corruption or dealing with corruptions. Governments that don't deal with corruptions don't get favors from the US. That has always been the policy. Ladies and gentlemen, perhaps if you watch this video and do not subscribe, please take 1 second and subscribe, like this video. So until we catch up again, stay safe and stay blessed.